Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're talking about a variety of assets. I also want to tie in this video to kind of like a 2.0 sort of deal with one of these stocks. I'll just say that. It could very well, and I'm not saying it's going to be, but I do think it's interesting what's happening with one of these stocks that basically lit off the OTC in 2021. If you've been around the block, you know what I'm talking about. We'll get into that stock here later on in the video. But as of right now, Bitcoin just crossed 100,000. Now, this has been a long time coming for those of you who have been invested in Bitcoin, since 2013, even earlier maybe. I actually thought about buying in 2013. I should have. And this is when it was brand new, basically. Nobody really knew about it. It was just kind of coming out to the mainstream. It hits 2020, this is over the last year, but over the last, the max chart you can see is just ridiculous. But you'll see and you'll notice, and we've talked about this on the channel, is how it can hit these 4-year cycles. And this is for crypto. This is for all kinds of assets that are in the cryptocurrency market. And we basically have this 4-year cycle that is, I'm going to shut the door. My son just opened it here. Hey, buddy, I'm making a video, okay? I'll be out in a minute. Anyway, so basically the 4-year cycle is focused on this idea that every 4 years, cryptocurrencies and assets typically will have a reversal, right? They crash 70 to 90% and then they go back up. And as we've seen, and as I've kind of been predicting, that's exactly what we've seen over the last 4 years, this cycle. And it's been a known cycle for a while. Now, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy if you want, but that's been the reality. Every 4 years, crypto consolidates. It crashes 70 to 90%. And basically from there, we have this huge parabolic move in a lot of these assets. Ethereum, okay, if we go back to 2021, 2024, going back over the last 5 years, you'll see, but all these different, and now we're approaching the all-time highs again. I think Bitcoin's kind of leading the charge, and that's also what we've seen. Bitcoin still holds the largest market cap out there. Now, XRP is the new kid on the block, the new kid in town. Not really, right? XRP's been around for a while, since 2018 even. There's people, myself, I bought some back in 2018. I traded it, but people who have held XRP for a long period of time, you can see how there's been different opportunities. Like in 2017, during the crypto bull market, when this basically, I think, came out or gained mainstream adoption, up to 270, and then it crashed all the way back down, and you had to wait all the way until 2021 to hit above $1 again, right? And now we're just now hitting these all-time highs again from 2017. So it's interesting how, all time we're up 80% from, I guess, the low of 17 cents when it started off in 2017. But then you have to ask, and people start asking the question, well, can it hit $10? Can it hit $20? I've even seen people say, and predictions going out, $1,000, $3,000 a coin. Now, keep in mind, if you had $1,000 per coin, that would be an absolutely ridiculous market cap. Now, those of you who are deep into XRP, you can maybe explain to me how we're going to get there. I've heard of people saying that this is going to be used as the global payment system infrastructure. So if that's the case, then I could potentially see a market cap in the trillions, but that would be, I think, a long way away. You don't get there overnight. You don't disrupt the entire banking industry overnight. You don't, these guys like their money, right? So JP Morgan, all those guys, it's going to be difficult, but it can be done. You can create an international payment system that's not based upon that, and maybe even it's competition for them, right? You could use XRP for that, and that's kind of what we're seeing. But we also have IQST. Now, IQST, this one I mentioned on the channel, doing over $100 million in revenue, market capitalization, $42 million. Now, with any of these stocks, I do want to mention these are not recommendations. Also, the cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, any of them mentioned in this video are not recommendations. Please keep that in mind. But these are kind of some of the cryptos and stuff I mentioned in my last video. And also this stock right here, IQSTEL, however you pronounce it with the Q out on the, I was talking about this stock back in 2021. And this stock basically hit a low of under 25 cents. Now, when that happened, I was saying when it was over $1 that it's going to go basically under 25 cents. Well, that's exactly what happened. It was basically peaking off at $1. It took a while, but it did in fact hit 9 cents a share back in 2023. And this is just the cycle that I saw coming with the OTC, the cryptocurrencies. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see this, because these cycles happen, and they've been happening in the markets. And so we can just kind of look at these patterns. Anytime you have a huge parabolic run, you can kind of expect a consolidation period. And in this case, you can expect one of, let's say, 70 to 90%. That's kind of what we saw. So anybody can kind of look at these trends on the cryptos or the penny stocks, and you can kind of see, maybe it doesn't line up exactly as 4 years, but we've kind of seen just recently, and if you compare this also to like crypto stocks, right? And we'll get into that here in this video. There is one stock I really want to talk about at the end of this video, which I think is kind of making a reappearance, and that's going to be kind of the entire thing that we get into near the end of this video, but bear with me. So next we have TNXP, right? We have Tonix Pharmaceuticals. I mentioned this in the last video. If you missed my last video, this is basically getting approval for sale and marketing in the US for their fibromyalgia drugs. And what this is basically, if they get approval for this, which is going to be expected, I think, by December 15th, or by the end of December, and then it goes on to final like FDA, stamp of approval and all that. Once that happens and you start to get sales and marketing approval, funneled through, those are basically the final stages for this to be sold in the US. And if that happens, this could be massive for the stock. Now, the stock is down massively too. Keep that in mind. They've done reverse splits. There's a lot of risk with this one, but with higher risk also comes the potential for higher reward. Now, I know people, and I've seen people posting, they're loaded up on this thing. 500,000 shares. No joke. I saw a guy post about that. So you have people who are loaded up, and this thing right here could really take off if we have positive news. NDA approval is what they're waiting on right now. So new drug application basically hitting the market. If they get approved for that within the next month, expected in December, by the way. This one right here, over the last month, we're up 22%. Last 5 days, we're down a bit. We're consolidating from the 20 cent level. It got to that 20 cent level and it just couldn't break above that. I think there's been some short selling going on, but I think we might have an opportunity here at 17 cents, because if you look at the counterparty drug, right? Drug was a stock. This one's down 6% today, but keep in mind, this is following a massive parabolic run where it hit $79 at the 52-week high, probably intraday, if you look at the more detailed chart. But $55, as you can see, on November 6, 2024, earlier that month, it was basically trading at $1. So this happened very quickly, right? And this is what can happen with these pharmaceutical biotech stocks when they really start to take off, right? So, and you have to have positive catalysts. You have to have positive news. Now, this one right here is sitting at a $385 million Canadian market cap. So if you take that to US dollars, then we're talking basically a $274 million market cap. If we took a look at TNXP and kind of compared that market cap, let's just call it 275 million, I think they have 185 million shares outstanding. So you could figure that this may be worth anywhere from $1 to $2 in that range based upon the current shares outstanding. So they need at least $1 to regain compliance. But I think people are expecting this could go a lot higher based upon the news and the catalyst. They have an entire drug pipeline that could be very valuable if they get a final approval for this. And so Tonix Pharmaceuticals is one of those deals where it is high risk, but with all these, penny stocks, you can really make those big returns. And that's what you're looking for with the cryptocurrencies too. That's why people buy these things, right? Because you're not getting dividends. You can try staking your cryptocurrency, but the idea is we want to make the capital appreciation, take the money and run sort of deal. So then we have HUMBL. Now this was the one that lit off the OTC in 2021. Now, this is what drove everybody crazy. It's up 79%. And look at this. It's up 163%. It just shot up. If I logged into live to my Fidelity account right now, it may be up to 0.0035. So people are kind of like reliving magic, reliving history. I guarantee if I went on Investors Hub or those websites, it would be trending probably on the breakout boards and all this kind of stuff. Last 5 days, up 1,000%, guys. Somebody could have bought this at 0.0002. I'm telling you, this is why people buy penny stocks. This is what can happen. For some reason, we're seeing a massive run. Now, you can go and look at the news. This was the darling of the OTC in 2021, okay? So $20 million. They're doing a $20 million transaction, a two-step transaction. And they have a new CEO. Brian Foote is stepping down, the guy that everybody loved from HUMBL, right? He's stepping down. But what we have here is basically physical assets, which will thin capital, a result of the transaction, move additional assets onto the balance sheet, and thin capital will be on improved balance sheet fundamentals, revenue, profitability metrics, liquidity pathways between U.S. and all that kind of stuff. So, real estate professionals, $1.5 billion in real estate development and management expertise in the Mountain West region. So, this almost seems like this is one of those press releases where people get very excited. Now, if this continues, I don't know. We have to see what happens, but this is kind of reminiscent. I think this is giving people goosebumps from 4 years ago. Because now, one thing to keep in mind with HUMBL, though, all right, this is not the same HUMBL where it was only 2 billion shares outstanding. If they want to really get a run on this thing, take a look at the shares outstanding on this, guys. They've diluted this thing so much that if you look at the market cap right now, we're already at a $31 million market cap. Now, they're saying there's $20 million of assets on the books. But this is not the same HUMBL where I think it was like 2.8 billion shares outstanding back in 2021. They ran this thing up to $7 on huge volume, lit up the OTC, lit up the financial markets. It was seeking alpha, everything else. And then what happened is they dilute, right? And there's 28 billion shares outstanding. Now, 21 billion are unrestricted as of December or today of 2024. So, this is just absolutely insane. You have 21 billion shares outstanding. So that's where people are like, that's a lot of dilution. How are they going to clean up all these excess shares? They're going to have to buy them out of the market. And that could be coming. Don't discount it, guys. We've seen this before. This is the same song and dance, different year, different market cycle. Pretty exciting. All right. Interesting stuff. I don't even know if George Sharp is associated with this one anymore. I don't think he is, but he does have his own tickers as well. Worldwide NFT, GBSI, SRW. So is this kind of the beginning cycle of what could be, bringing back goosebumps from what people experienced in 2021? Could this be kind of the beginning stages of what we saw previously? I think it's a possibility, and you have to be quick with these things because opportunity comes knocking on these stocks, right? Opportunity comes knocking on these cryptos. But if you've bought after the price has gone up 1,000%, like we saw with HUMBL, you're taking much greater risk than somebody who bought previously. With all the extra shares outstanding, somebody may be, ready to unload 100 million shares at 0.003. They could stop the run. They could, depending on the volume, 1 billion shares. They might have 1 billion shares. They might want to unload, right? So this is up today 172%. But always keep in mind, it's also up at 1,100% the last 5 days. Okay, so this is what's crazy. Now, if this hits $1 again, all bets are off, I suppose. But it's one of those deals where it's just absolutely crazy to think about because this is what we saw in 2021, and here we are again, guys. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. There'll be more videos coming, and we'll talk soon, guys. Take care.